Welcome to Hot Air at the Synod. This is Ed Morrissey reporting from the Vatican Press briefing room, where we just concluded a press briefing with Father Lombardi, Father Rosica, and Father Damonte, along with two of the cardinals. And we are in the first full day of interventions. This is now a closed synod. In other words, we're not privy to what is being said specifically in the synod, but we are getting daily recaps without the names of the various people who are speaking to go over the different topics that are being discussed and to give us an idea of where they are in the Instrumentum Laudores. They are still on the first chapter today, but they did have quite a robust discussion. They had 70 interventions, and of the 70 interventions, there were 11 major topics discussed. Some of them, among them, were language, commitment, and the language part, I think, was one of the keys of the presentation. This came from Father Rosica. The bishops seem intent on changing the language that they use in addressing social issues. Specifically, the terms living in sin, intrinsically disordered, and contraceptive mentality were singled out as particularly unhelpful. They want new terms to address these issues in a more welcoming manner. Also, the bishops want more care in the use of scriptural references in the use of in use to support doctrine, underscoring the need for exegesis and historical context when using them. The Synod also talked about the law of graduality, which is a moral teaching taking one step at a time towards holiness. Cardinal Nichols, who was here in 1982, although not a participant in that Synod, noted that St. John Paul II spoke of this at the 1982 Ordinary Synod, but offered a key distinction. There is a law of graduality, he told them, but not a graduality of the law. In other words, the law is the law, and it's consistent and it's eternal, but we must find ways to take single steps towards becoming holy, towards our own holiness. There were multiple affirmations that this synod would not change doctrine, but focus on how it is presented pastorally, and there were apparently a number of useful sort of best practice discussions from the bishops on how they are doing that. Marriage encounter, by the way, an engaged encounter, were singled out as particularly helpful in this case. But the idea here is that there does need to be a change in the way that marriage doctrine is presented, not necessarily to marriage doctrine. And so you're going to be seeing more of this discussion as obviously as the week rolls on. This first week will be all about the written interventions that preceded this particular date. The next week is more or less to be determined, but the big day, I think, for the issues that I think that drew the most attention to this synod are going to be on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. And so we'll pick up that on Wednesday's briefing and Thursday's briefing, but those are the difficult family situations, the difficult pastoral situations that they are discussing, that they came here to discuss, to find a way to address their flocks, if you will. The briefing was very informative. It was fairly comprehensive, although the English language briefing was specific more or less to the English language interventions. Spanish language more or less specific to the Spanish language interventions. Father Lombardi did the Italian interventions. The synod, by the way, is being conducted entirely in Italian. That is, or at least that's the official language, I should say, not entirely, but that's the official language is Italian, not Latin, for those of you who might be interested in that. We're obviously going to have much more in this as we go along. I'll have a daily report from the press briefing room as these press briefings go on. I'm Ed Morrissey for Hot Air and for Catholic Match, and we'll have more for you.